start with Greenland, as you serve as the top diplomat at the administration for the first term. Why does President Trump want to acquire Greenland?
Well, here we are in Argentina, and if you look at President Trump and his idea of security in our hemisphere, we've ignored it. When I got to Denmark, and it's a kingdom, so they have Greenland, the Faroe Islands, and the country of Denmark, and Greenland's part of North America, and there was really almost no U.S. presence in all of those North Seas, the Arctic, the even North Atlantic. Our military and our diplomatic efforts had really withered away after the end of the Cold War. And we hadn't had a diplomatic relationship when I got to Greenland for 67 years. So when President Trump looks at Greenland, he also looks at the Panama Canal and says we cannot have the Chinese Communist Party controlling where not just our trade goes through, but our military vessels. In emergency, we've got to move those around. And the Chinese Communist Party uses every lever, and certainly that would be a choke point for our military. And so, but he also looks at South America, Central America, and the Caribbean and says, this is our hemisphere. What have we done? We've neglected our own hemisphere. We can see the pressure of Iran, of Russia, China, of these countries, but also organizations in different countries that are causing unrest and giving a lot of negative influence on the governments and the people.
During your remarks, you referred as China as the biggest threat to the U.S. For those who are not in topic, how big is the China threat to the U.S. national security?
It's an existential threat because it's not just a war with ships and tanks and men with guns. It's a war that is unrestricted warfare. So what they're doing is they're buying American farmland. Sometimes it's to control farm supply. Sometimes it's near a sensitive base or some sensitive area where they can collect information. But it's also about controlling, for instance, food supply. They own a lot of the pork production in the United States. Now they're beginning to control the pork supply and processing in the United States. You can't have your greatest enemy control the food supply. So there are things that the United States is doing, the government is doing, and they're putting in laws that will not allow, first at the state level, and then I think there will be at the federal level, to control adversaries. We can't go buy farmland in China. So like President Trump says, he wants reciprocity, a level playing field. It's like the old scripture, do unto others as you have them do unto you.
And you also mentioned the necessity to defeat China in the energy field as well. What can President Trump and Secretary Wright do about this?
Well, it's Secretary Wright, but it's also Secretary Burgum. Interior has more control of our energy supplies in the United States than energy does. Energy deals with nuclear and other things. So, and we also have the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, which has permitting controls and has put a lot of bureaucratic pressure to almost choke off our domestic energy growth. So what President Trump is doing is he's created an energy czar in Secretary Burgum, and he's going to harmonize all the policies because China controls almost all of the global windmills and solar panels. So the push toward green energy is actually a push of every country into the economic arms of the Chinese Communist Party.
That's our last question. What is that you want to see accomplished in this Trump second term?
What I want to see accomplished in President Trump's second term is what I want to see accomplished here in Argentina and in every sovereign nation around the world. And that is that their leadership makes their country great, that the people prosper, that the kids can do better than the parents, and that they have security so they can sleep peacefully at night and not be worried about being invaded by a foreign adversary, and not just invaded with guns, but invaded economically as well.
Thank you so much for your time.